Welcome. Welcome to this Mindful Embodied Monday. If you've never joined us in the Zoom room, believe me, it doesn't always start calm. Sometimes it's a bit flustery, but that's just how life is, so that's okay. But you're always welcome to come and join us. There will definitely not be a Mindful Embodied Monday next week because it's the holiday weekend and I can't come. So it's actually nothing to do with the holiday weekend that I'm not able to do it, but there won't be one. And we might have a slight break, but I'll update in the Facebook group and even through, if I can work out how to message people that are registered through Zoom, I'll do that. The last time I did that, I just cancelled everything and it caused mayhem, but that's a story for another time. We'll start with the centering. We'll have an A, B, C. You can sit or you can stand. Whichever you're doing, feel your body resting on the surface. If you're standing, feel your feet on the ground. Maybe feel your legs, your sit bones, your hips in a chair. Feel your body back against whatever you're resting on. And then spread your awareness out a bit and notice around you the temperature of the space, any sounds, scents or smells, anything you can see. And then bring that awareness back in to your body and notice how you feel. Have you paused to notice yet today, or is this the first time? How am I in this body today? How is this body today? How am I as a body today? Noticing, accepting. Bring awareness to your breath. Inhale. Pause. Exhale, gap, and the cycle. Cycle flows. That's A for awareness. B for balance. Have a little rock, back and forth, side to side, up and down. Find that place of least effort. Perhaps you can bring some balance to your breath, counting in and out for 2 or 3 or even 4. Not holding the breath, we're not retaining it. The pause is not a hold, it's just the turn of a wave. And C for core. Softness through the core. So as you inhale, lengthen up through the spine. Imagine a long line of energy coming out through the crown of the head, a string pulling you up. And as you exhale, soften right the way through. Forehead, cheeks, jaw, neck, shoulders, chest and belly. Perhaps add an audible exhale. Second C, connection. If you're in the Zoom room, having a little look on the screen, the faces, smiles, the familiarity. And otherwise, bring to mind a person, a friend, a family member, a pet, someone that makes you feel warm inside. And then let that go. And notice how you feel. Notice if it's different. Remember, you can do that quickly. Just quick. If ever you need. You can do it subtly. You can do it slowly. Practice centering. That's an invitation, not an instruction. Practice centering so you can use it in your life when you need it. It takes a lot of practice, by the way, to apply centering when we need it, especially if you are somebody with a bit of fire in your soul and passions can rise quickly to the surface. To remember to center is really hard, especially if we are talking to somebody close to us and something fires us up and we risk being angry, upset, or saying something that we might not want to. Being angry and upset are okay, by the way. There's nothing wrong with those things. The centering use is about avoiding saying something that you don't want to. Holding it back, pausing, reconnecting. Okay. We're going to have a check-in in the Zoom room. So my invitation to you, if you're watching the recording, is also to have a check-in. And you can check in however you like today, noticing how you feel in your body, in yourself, in your mood. Notice how you are and how you want to be. How you are, awareness, accepting that, having intention. How you want to be. We've had a check-in in the Zoom room. We're thinking this morning about possibilities and things that we can do, places we want to go, whether virtually, in real life, or with plans of any kind, including reorganization. But everything we do being in a platform of self-care. Now, this is important for everybody, but it's especially important if we already experience a chronic health challenge, whatever that challenge is, whether it's with pain and fatigue, or from surgery, or from an illness, or from life, from overwhelm, from a struggle, from stress. If you're sailing along at a younger age without the encumbrance of feeling those things, then, I used to be able to turn the furniture around in every room in my house like that. Because there was furniture blocking the door, because I'd turn it round, I'd clear everything out, I'd clean everything up. The idea of things like that really actually overwhelmed me completely. The idea of cleaning out a cupboard can start okay, but it gets quickly out of control and suddenly I'm surrounded by a mess that I'm feeling totally overwhelmed by. That situation can come from anything that we're doing, whether it's physically tidying space, virtually tidying space, recovering from experiences. The overwhelm can be enormous. And yet still we can do these things. We can do them, but perhaps sometimes we need to plan in a bit of extra self-care, not just first, because that implies we know what's coming up, but just along the way. If there was one message that I think came out of befriending me, I think it was make sure self-care is planned into your life. Make sure that we have self-care every single day in any form. That self-care might be coming to something like this. It might be fluffy socks for me. I know one member of our group really doesn't like fluffy socks, so that wouldn't work for them. It might be an area on the sofa. For the benefit of the recording, I just got a display of fluffy socks in the Zoom room. It might be being cuddled up with a cat. It might be having a crocheted shawl around your shoulders. It might be watching your favourite TV programme or film. Self-care doesn't have to be spiritual. It doesn't have to be yoga and meditation. Those things are good. We know those things are good for the nervous system, and there is research on this, so it's okay. I'm not just making it up. Those things are good for developing resilience, but self-care is so much bigger than that. Self-care is not feeling guilty about wanting to stay in hibernation. Self-care is having hibernation in and out of the year, all year round, should you need. Self-care is saying, that pile of clothes can wait. Pick your battles. You do not need a house that looks like it's in a magazine. You do not need every single thing in your life to be put away perfectly. You do not need your hair and makeup to look like Instagram. Pick your battles. Be kind to yourself. See what matters. And pick one thing at a time. With possibility, we can slowly change things, but on a blanket of self-care. I'm going to stand up. We're going to have a little bit of movement. On the days, I know you know this, most of you know this, on the days you're feeling out of sorts, overwhelmed, but anxious and ungrounded with it, that is when movement helps. I know you know this, but that sometimes we need to remind ourselves, if your energy is too high, it's like saying to somebody, oh, calm down, just calm down, sit quietly, and you can't because you're all over the place. We need to move, feel it through our bodies, bring it down that way. So I'm going to stand up and go over there. And then when I come back, we'll have guided meditation. Okay. So you can be standing, you can be seated, however you need to be. But first, take your awareness down to your feet or whatever's resting on furniture. And imagine roots down into the ground. Even lift a foot up and then the other, or move from one hip to the other if you're sitting. And just sense or imagine that connection with the earth. And feel gravity pulling you down. You can actually sink a little if you tune into it, because we don't float away. But then perhaps you can imagine the strength from the earth rising up through you, rising up and out through you. Take a little swing side to side, and maybe you can sense the movement right through the body. Maybe you can even picture it, as though we were filled with lights and different parts of the body was moving. No right way to do this, no wrong way. Just have a little stretch, have a little twist. Feel it where it wants to stretch, where you want to stretch. Come to stillness. Have a shake. This is good if you're very anxious. Shake up your arms, shake them high, shake them low. And stop and feel it. Shake a leg. And the other leg. And pause. And we'll do our little mini sun salutation. You can do it seated, remember. So inhale, remember that, let the breath move your arms. Inhale, take your arms up and reach high. Exhale, come down, soften the knees all the way down. If you're seated, just fold forward. Come all the way back up. Inhale, all the way back up. Exhale, back to the start. Shake one leg, shake the other, have a wiggle. We'll do it again. Inhale, take the arms up to the sky. Exhale, soften the knees all the way down. Come halfway up this time. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, full way down. Soften the knees, inhale all the way back up. Exhale, let go. Have a shake, have a wiggle. Notice how your body feels. Notice if there's any extra energy. It can almost... Well, actually, two things happen. It's a bit centering on its own because two things happen. The unregulated energy can feel a bit more dispersed. And if you're feeling a bit floppy, it can come up. Now, I'm seeing somebody in the Zoom room, and this is another good thing to do, is rebound. Have a little bounce around. Move. If your body asks you to bounce, bounce. And if you're thinking, my body's never asked me to bounce, try it. You can bounce sitting as well, by the way. You don't have to be standing. You can bounce. You can shake. You can tap. And pause. going to come back down. We're going to have a guided meditation. If you're feeling wound up, ungrounded and anxious, you can walk. And you can change your mind halfway through. Or at any point. You never need to stay in one position. There are many schools that teach meditation, and some will definitely tell you that you absolutely must sit tall and sit upright and sit still. And it's not true. There you go, you can quote me on that. But Helen says I don't have to. You can sit however you choose. Because if you sit tall and still with your fingers in a mudra, chances are you'll be just focusing on sitting tall and still and your fingers in a mudra. Now, that might work for you. There's nothing wrong with sitting tall and still. You don't need to have your hands in a strange position. There's nothing wrong with sitting tall and still. It's just not a requirement. The meditation is about your practice and how it's right for you. And if we're thinking about possibility, we need to think about the possibilities of how it can work for us. Because you are in charge. This is about you. This is about caring for you. So before we go any further, an invitation to take a hug. One hand around the ribs, one to the shoulder. Remembering self-care, self-kindness, self-love, underpinning every other possibility, every other thing that we might choose to do, every other step that we take. Swap sides if you wish, or stay there. Me, I like to stay here. And just sink. And then let that go. Or stay there, that's up to you. Soften your gaze or close your eyes. Notice again how you feel. Notice if it feels different from when we first arrived. Awareness of your breath. Awareness of your body. And if your mind wanders, that's okay. Bring it back gently, perhaps using the breath as an anchor. And take your awareness first through the body, starting at the top of the head, through the head and the face, sensing and imagining the whole of the face, down through the neck and the arms, the chest and the belly, the hips, the legs and the feet. And then in your mind's eye, an invitation to come on a little journey with me. A walk on an early spring day. But on this day you are comfortable. You have enough energy. You feel good walking. The path might be familiar to you. Well trodden, grass gone from it, so many feet follow that route. And it's dry because the weather's been dry, the sun's been shining with the promise of warmer days ahead. Overhead, blue skies, a hint of cloud, and a cool crispness, and yet some warmth. As you wander along the path, there are trees here and there, and in the shade of the trees the air's cool. Still it's fresh. Perhaps you can see some early flowers and buds developing at the side of the path. And as you progress, it's getting a little more overgrown. The regular walkers have stopped. They turn around at this point, but you continue. Longer grasses, but still you can see your way. The way ahead brings possibility, choices, options. But taking care with each step, ensuring you're caring for yourself, comfortable, safe. There's a divide in the path. One route winds back in a circle, back to the beginning. But perhaps you choose the other route through a grassy area and into trees. The trees are widely spaced, but go on and on and on. So it's like a magical woodland. It's silent. Barely even a noise from the leaves above, because the air is still. You can smell the trees, smell the ground, smell the flowers. You can smell the springness of the air. You wander on and realize there's lots of little pathways, lots of options, lots of possibilities to choose from. You find your way, the way that's best for you, the way that's best for your footwear, for your body, for your choice. And emerging through the other side of the trees into a grassy area in a kind of dip, so you don't see very far, but there is a stream. Hear the water, the freshness of the water trickling. And perhaps here you can sit and rest by the stream. Few things float past you. It's not deep, but the water can carry. It can carry poo sticks, little sticks on their journey. It can carry leaves, each seeking possibility, not knowing where they'll land. And settling down here, you can rest and take awareness back into your body, supported here by the earth. Awareness back to the head, the eyes, and the muscles around the eyes, the ears, the cheeks, the jaw, feeling the tongue loose in the mouth, sensing the whole of the head here, breathing in and breathing out. Moving your awareness through the neck, into the shoulders. Perhaps even taking some tiny movements to sense into the shoulders. And noticing anything arising there. Breathing in and breathing out. Awareness moving down the arms, through the elbows and forearms to the wrists, and feeling into the hands, sensing each finger and each thumb, the space between the fingers and around the hands. Maybe taking some tiny micro movements to increase sensation there and noticing. Breathing in and breathing it out. Taking awareness back up through the arms, through the shoulders, and down into the chest, the collarbones, the ribs, the spine at the back of the chest, and sensing deeper into the chest, the lungs and the heart, protected, safe. Breathing in and breathing out. Letting your awareness move down into the belly. Perhaps sensing the skin over the belly, round the back, the vertebra, the spine at the back, and the organs deep in the belly, working hard, digesting, caring for us, nourishing. Breathing in and breathing out. Awareness moving down into the pelvis. Sensitive organs here, and noticing whatever arises. Sensation, emotion. It's okay. Breathing in and breathing out. And letting your awareness move through the hips, down each leg, to the knees, the lower legs, the ankles, and into the feet. Sensing into each toe, the whole of each foot. Noticing anything that arises there. Breathing in and breathing out. Sensing, imagining the whole body here, the whole body resting in this place. Perhaps you can sense yourself as a whole body. Breathing in and breathing out. And allow yourself to rest here. Stay here. Be here as a body for the next couple of minutes. Breathing in and breathing out. Awareness of your whole body here, resting in this place, resting by this stream, knowing you can come back here whenever you choose. It's time to make our way back. So from the earth, from the ground, by the stream, rising up and choosing your pathway, because there are many, and you know you have the possibility of a different route. You have the possibility of a new adventure. You're cared for, you're safe, you can choose any route you wish. Slowly making your way back through the trees, noticing the canopy above, interweaving pathways around you. Back through the mossy grass, the scents of the flowers. Perhaps you even notice a rabbit scurrying ahead. Back to the well-trodden pathway, well worn by many souls. And back to where we started. Taking a long last look back at the route so you know where to come to another day. Taking awareness back into your body again. Feeling your body supported where you're sitting, lying or standing. Awareness of your breath moving through the body. And take any movements that you need now. Any movements as we reach the end of this practice. Perhaps a stretch, taking your arms overhead, lengthening through your fingers, through your toes. And stay here a little while if you wish. Or as you're ready, slowly come back to where we began. Opening your eyes if they were closed. Remembering all of the possibility ahead of us is there, however we feel. And our job is to ensure that we have sufficient self-care planned around whatever we do. And our job is not to berate ourselves when we forget, just to add in a dollop more. I'm going to turn off the recording. So thank you for joining us if you're watching the recording, and we will see you soon.